do you mind sharing the agenda? I couldn't download it.
I'll share it to the screen in just a
Yeah,
moment.
thanks.
All right.
How are we tabulating? Oh, I guess I'll wait for the meeting. Sorry.
Let's see here. Oh, there it is. All right.
Ready?
There we go.
Okay, I will go ahead and call today's meeting to order. Today is a regular meeting of the Town Council Communications Committee. It's Thursday, May 11th at 3 o'clock. Let the record show that in attendance are all 3 Town Council members of the committee, and we are joined by Allison and Liam. Item 3 is approval of the April 13th minutes. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those, discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Jean Marie. And Nick and I are both affirmative. Item 4 is council corner articles and topics for June. So before we touch on June, I just want to confirm with Allison that John Anderson is going to write
Okay.
the May 15th
Okay.
council corner article, and he's going to do a recap of council goals.
Oh,
Where
okay.
we are to date.
I had noted that we're doing a school building update.
So with the timeline being what it is and us having our workshop on the 17th, John felt more comfortable speaking to
Gotcha.
council goals first.
Yeah.
And then we will put out something, related to the school project at this point after we've had that May 17th workshop.
Right, because I had offered to draft something, so thank you, John.
Yeah, so John, I spoke to John Anderson about it today. And so he confirmed that he can do that.
Okay.
So then for June, since we had a bit of a miscommunication for May 1st, I don't want to repeat that. And so I'm just going to offer the June 1st spot to Counselor Hamel and topic
June.
TBD.
Sorry.
Okay.
And that I will get in touch with you, Allison, in terms of like making sure that he has a topic and understands what the deadline is.
Okay.
But as far as I
Pleasure.
am concerned, like,
Yep.
if that's okay with the committee, he was gonna write one for May 1st, and then I was gonna write one, and then I didn't have power, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
And then for June 15th, my suggestion would then be to have an article about the school go out.
And I don't mind drafting, doing
Okay.
that.
That's great, Jean Marie.
If
Thank
someone
you for
could just
offering.
I'll put it in my calendar, but someone remind me too.
Yep, I'm happy to do that. So we'll put Dawn in for 6/1 and Jean Marie in for 6/15. And I will send out reminders for both of those. Anything else on council corner articles?
We had discussed the statement, a council statement that was going to be.
So I drafted a council statement based on some work that Nick and John Anderson and Dawn had done. Jean Marie made edits to it. I went back and tried to pull it all into a cohesive document, and I sent it to council leadership, and council leadership decided that
Okay.
it was not something that had consensus.
Okay.
And so I think just the timing of it, made people feel
Right.
like, how could we have a council statement on something when we have a school workshop coming up, and people just weren't
And we
sure.
haven't even voted on it. My whole thing was, for Pete's sakes, we haven't even taken a position as a council, so.
And so, as communications chair, I did my best to work it and try to, get as many of the council voices in there as I could. And in the end, I just, even myself, and I'll be the first to admit, even I couldn't fully get behind what I had given to council leadership, which I still had notes in the margin saying that I couldn't quite fully get on board with it.
It's
So,
not as easy or small task to
Yeah.
try to reflect 7 people's views.
and the challenge I was having, and I think that this is an important conversation, the challenge I was having was I wasn't pulling from public discussions.
Right.
And so there was parts of it that did not sit right with me, that we hadn't had a public discussion on the position statement as a full council, where
Right.
I could pull from what people had said publicly in order to incorporate that.
Makes sense.
Right.
So-
And it was kind of like, taking 7 people's opinions and writing an opinion piece. It's like,
Right.
that doesn't work real well.
Right, and as you can imagine, people had different opinions.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, what you end up with an end product that contradicts itself or is so
Yeah.
watered down, really is saying nothing.
Yeah.
So,
And that's where I landed,
Right.
was with an end product that I didn't think was worth putting out because it didn't say anything.
appreciate your efforts.
Oh, thank you. Some- Sometimes things don't launch and that's okay. Anything else for council corner articles? Nope, okay. Item 5 is budget roundtable. So it feels like ancient history now, but we did have a second budget roundtable that Counselor Hamel and I attended at the library. We had 4 people in attendance and some people online. Some really great questions. Again, the theme tends to be around the CIP, debt management. We had a conversation about fund balance, which Liam and I really kind of tried to give a concise answer, but the finance committee spent a good part of a meeting going over all of the definitions of unassigned fund balance, restricted fund balance, all of the different terms. And so we kind of pointed the resident toward that meeting.
I did follow up and send.
And I saw that. Thank you for following up with her. So good questions. We had about an hour discussion when everything was said and done. And the residents that attended did express interest in having another one as the budget process works its way towards second reading. And so I think if we look at the calendar for June, let's see. I don't have the finance calendar right in front of me. Does anyone know right off the top of their head when second reading is scheduled for?
So we're gonna pull it up.
It's on the
Thank
budget-
you.
On the 2024 budget page.
This one here, adoption schedule.
I don't know if that's updated, but yeah. That's June 7th.
That would be my guess since the election's the
Revised.
27th referendum.
Okay, so something before June 7th. And I did have a request from council, members of council to not have it be a Monday.
Okay.
And so that really gives us the week of the. Well, we could do the week of the 22nd. Or we could do the week of the 29th and still be before.
I would think that 20, because if we do the 22nd, I guess if you do it after the 24th, the 24th will be the last night of. That'll be the night of capital equipment.
Okay.
And also executive.
Okay, so let's,
So maybe doing it after
After.
an overview.
Yep.
But then the 31st is the final budget adjustments from the finance committee. So I would think between those 2 dates would be what we'd shoot for.
okay,
And Memorial Day is the 29th.
the 29th, yeah.
Well,
We'll
Thursday,
be
the
at-
25th.
I will be at the GP Cog Annual Summit that afternoon.
Okay.
I don't necessarily have to attend the budget roundtable.
Mhm.
It could be other counselors, but I'm unavailable
What
that night.
what about maybe asking whether members of the finance committee
Mhm.
would be interested in hosting, or any member of the finance committee hosting that last budget roundtable?
Okay. So
Yeah,
I'm fine as long as this committee, as long as the recommendation from this committee is to host one more. Then I can pose a couple of dates to John and have him ask the finance committee members. And as long as, they can get something. I can propose the 25th.
I think or Tuesday,
Or the
the 30th,
30th.
because it's not gonna be the holiday.
Yeah.
and Probably not gonna want to do it on Friday night.
And I can do the 30th. So. I'll give John Clucci the option between the two. And then as soon as he confirms one or the other is better, I will let everybody involved know. And we'll get that on the calendar. Okay. So that, and somebody can make a video.
Do you think there's any way we could know before Monday? Just
Yeah.
because the newsletter coming out,
Yeah.
okay, that's the last chance to do a push like that.
Yeah, let me, prioritize that and I'll get to you before Monday.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. While we have our calendars out, item 6 is Counselor Corner Live. There's definitely a push from members of council for our next Counselor Corner Live to be on the school. I think it is probably now the timing, is exactly right for us to do one on the school. And so our workshop with them is next Wednesday, the 17th. Suggestions for Counselor Corner Live? Either the 25th or the 30th, whichever day finance doesn't want.
Is there? I mean, getting into June,
Yeah, we can push it to June.
right?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of like when the substantive information and important folks would be scheduled. So you want to do it between the two, right? Substantive information and important vote, you probably want to be soliciting feedback between those two goals.
I don't recall the timeline that John Anderson had, Mr. Anderson, like, put out.
We've got a whole list of timelines, don't we?
Did his timeline include a Counselor Corner Live? I wouldn't be surprised if it did.
Actually, no, I don't know if it did. That email came to us last week?
Well, yeah, and didn't he have something in there, or didn't I see something about trying to get some feeling for what the council was thinking about it even going to referendum in November?
Well, I think that he wants that to be part of the discussion
Right,
Wednesday night.
right.
But that's not something we would vote on.
No, but anyway, that will give a certain flavor to what happens, potentially.
Lots of things could flavor what
I know,
happens.
that's what I'm saying.
I remember specifically what you sent them. All the stuff he said. He did it as a Google Doc. Council workshop and calendar.
What are you looking for? His email?
Yeah, for
Hmm,
the school budget.
Yeah,
School
let me
budget,
see if I
school
can find
budget. Did he do it as a Google Doc or was it just a separate attachment? Do you remember?
I thought it was
Put up on the screen at the meeting.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I think it was an whoops, I think it was an attachment.
And I got his calendar here, but. So August 16th is the workshop to request referendum approval.
Okay.
Yeah, that's, yeah, 'cause that's the last date we could do it. Has to be done by then, if not on that date. Because of the absentee balloting and whatever.
What do we feel about, how do we feel about,
I think you're safe in June.
either Tuesday, June 6th or Tuesday, June 13th? What else is on the town calendar? Those,
I'm out of town the 13th, I know that, but that doesn't matter. I think I'm out of town, maybe I'm dreaming, maybe I'm wishing.
June 6th. There's nothing right now.
Okay,
The 13th, that's coastal waters and shellfish.
I mean, June 6th.
Is that enough time to promote it? Allison?
Yeah, I can promote it then. We've normally done them on Thursdays, right? Are we changing it to Tuesday?
I think you can be flexible. So the council meets the 7th and the 21st that week.
Ooh. I
So
do
the
have
8th.
back. Yeah, I am around the 13th. It's the following week. I'm not around on Tuesday.
I can also do the Thursday, the 15th. If we wanted to hold it to a Thursday. There's also nothing on the town calendar that night,
Right. The 8th will be ordinance and communications
Right.
again.
right?
The schools, Scarborough School, the board, I can't even talk. The school board communications meeting is the 15th. Just so you know. Not that that matters, I'm just saying for timing wise.
Yeah,
Although if it's gonna be on the school building. I mean, we should probably be,
I think they need.
oh, okay, it's not an evening, okay. And luck finding his overall timeline, no.
Would it possibly be, was it included in the packet for the town council, or did he just have a range?
No, you pulled it up. How did you?
Yeah, you had it up on the screen. I don't know if it was.
His, John Anderson's calendar?
Yeah.
No, I think he pulled it up.
Oh, he did.
Well,
He showed it,
Right.
yeah.
Maybe we don't
Maybe we
all
don't.
have it.
It wasn't in the packet.
It was not in the town council packet, right?
I've got it right here. It's in an
Great.
email to all of us on 5/9/2023.
Okay.
I think.
The chairs update, you mean?
Yeah, it's his timeline.
I mean, there's a council and workshop calendar, but there was like a whole like
He had
bulleted
Lots
list.
It was
Yeah.
all around the letter of intent, right? It started with the letter of intent.
Oh, I don't know.
So there,
I think we should just have it the 15th.
yeah, just
We
do it.
will have had our
Legit.
first June council meeting. I mean, the topic is always dictated by how far we are down the line.
Mhm.
And so when we have the round, or when we have the council corner live, that's gonna be what is relevant. I think just as long as we're not having the council corner live right before we make a big decision, you know, or right after, but I think the 15th,
Pencil it in for the 15th.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if we need to adjust, we can always try to do that.
Yeah.
Or something else. Okay. So June 15th.
June 15th. (6:00), and then hopefully public safety is available. Thank you.
Who's hosting?
I think John and I are probably the most logical choice, just because we are the liaisons to that committee. He's certain, I mean, he and I talked about it today, so he certainly knows that that was my proposal for a topic, so he knows it's coming. But I'm also happy to yield my seat, always.
I'm happy to have you take it. Thank you.
I knew you were gonna
I
say that.
appreciate you doing these. Been there, done that too many years. Thank you very much.
Good. I'm happy to carry the torch for now until it get burned out.
All right, so, okay.
Good?
Good.
All right, so now item 6 is community survey review and discussion. I'm gonna hand this over to Liam.
All right.
He put the timeline for us in our packet, so we just scroll to the next page of the agenda if you have it in front of you.
This is the timeline that we utilized last.
Yeah, we should
Yeah,
expect,
yeah.
so 2021.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
yep.
So just to give everyone an idea of the steps we took, and again, we don't have to, I think. The actual timeline, I think we didn't get the results until maybe December. I think the report is maybe in January. So if one of the thoughts is that this resurveying of the community will help inform the next council's goals and objectives. I would recommend we back it up a little bit,
Okay.
maybe a month. And that should be feasible, because I don't know, we have the foundations there. It's really just the questions and subjects and topics that we want to broach. So if this were a late September start time, I'd say a late August timeframe for this next one.
Okay.
And so we can certainly propose an updated calendar for that. I think that agreeable, Allison.
Mhm.
Can I ask a really dumb question?
No, shoot.
When are you doing this survey?
That's what we're talking about. I think that we
Okay.
launch it. If we want to do it earlier, let's see here. So this is the communication around it.
Right.
I think what we want to do some prep in August, so we might launch it, mid-September, something like that. Because again, the mailed stage, full launch stage ongoing. So I would say that we'll probably have the survey go out in September.
And are we doing that or are we paying someone to do that?
We're gonna pay the same.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
okay.
and we have an updated proposal from them. Was that in the packet as well?
No, just
Yeah.
the questions.
Okay, so the survey that's in the packet was what we actually launched last time.
Yeah.
I think that there certainly should be some subjects and questions and concepts we bring over to the next one to kind of see what's
Right.
changed. I think.
Right.
And I certainly think there's a whole host of new subjects that the council will want to approach and get community input and feedback on. April,
Yeah, and I would want to make sure because the guys or gals who did the survey before, I mean, they're the professionals in this. So they should be able to advise us too on how much you tinker with it and how you add or whatever, to keep it as scientific as possible.
Yep. So, sorry, April, I guess so this is kind of the overview. I'd say we should probably look to launch early September, so we get results back in the report after the election, but before the goal setting. So that's probably the December timeframe, is what I would shoot for.
Okay. So then the other piece that would kind of come back to this committee and that I think is our role is to gather feedback from other counselors. Liam had suggested that maybe IT could turn this document into a survey of sorts that council could go through and say, yes, leave this question. Yes, I like this. Yeah, take this out. And just kind of, even if each of us just kind of quickly went through and preference what we think was valuable and what we think could be removed. And then, Liam could consolidate that feedback. And then as a committee, we could look at that and say, okay, like this is clearly where the council's goals, this is what's in line with our priorities. Because my fear is if I send this to the full council, there's no good way for council to give concise feedback.
Right.
And I don't know how many counselors will take the time to go through question by question. And I don't know if you guys don't think we need that level of feedback, then maybe a survey is over the top, but I do want the rest of council to let us know, what they would like to see. I mean, this is a significant guiding document at this point.
Sure.
Well, that's why I question, who are the professionals in this and who aren't.
Sure. Oh, there's definitely a dance, right? I mean,
Right. And that's why
provide
I
our
hesitated.
feedback.
It's like,
Yeah,
I mean, I get what you're saying with the involvement of the council, but by the same token, the counselors have to understand that, they're giving some feedback, but we're going to give it to the professionals to guide us as to what really needs to be, because what you want to see are trends too. And if you're changing the survey too much, you're going to miss your trending.
I think too, like, I'll give you an example, and trust me, I'm not trying to pick on the schools, I just jumped out when I was scrolling in.
Sure.
But quality of communication between schools and home,
Which,
and if I mark, I'm,
Yeah, what number?
I'm sorry, it's question 19.
okay.
Well, it's section 19.
Section 19, question
10.
10. See,
So,
this is why I think that little survey will help because.
but yeah, but I'm just like, this is an example of what my feedback on something like this would be, is like, I can answer very dissatisfied here, right? But
Right.
it doesn't help me extrapolate why I'm very dissatisfied, and it might be because I don't think the teachers send me information, the superintendent might be great at it, but the teachers don't, or you see what I'm saying, we can't figure out why somebody's dissatisfied from that question. And I think that's. If you
Yeah,
want.
but you can take the aggregation of numbers and bring it back to the school board and say, you guys need to look at this.
Right, but they would have zero guidance as to why somebody would be dissatisfied with it.
Well, they can.
Is it
they can-
over communication? Is it not the
Right.
communication appropriate parties? Like, we don't know why. So I think when I'm sitting here, like I said, I don't need to pick on them. I'll grab another question because it jumped out at me too, was
And of course, I would have marked that as 9. I have no clue. I don't have any
Yeah,
kids
I got
in
it.
school.
right, yeah. So this jumped out at me is number 33, section 33. We ask what people's household income is. So those brackets seem quite small to me. And I don't know if they align with, let's just say one of those aligns with what you would consider by, I don't know what the proper term for this, but statewide you would consider below poverty level. So now we have a where that might be below poverty level. Is that next section representative of somebody that would qualify for affordable housing? Like, what am I to extrapolate from, if I wanted to get all this information back and I'm like, how do people who are either in workforce housing category, how do they view our town? So I don't know if these brackets of numbers really actually align with something I can try to decipher. If I want to know how people who fall into an affordable housing bracket
Yeah.
view this town, why isn't that the bracket of money we're asking about? So that was just another question that popped out. So
Sure.
I want to be able to understand when we get results back. Okay, great. That makes 75,000 a year. I don't know what that means. Like, what does it mean for where they are? Wouldn't that be better aligned if we knew they were below poverty line, affordable housing, workforce housing, middle class, upper, like, wouldn't we better understand maybe subsets of this information and feedback we're getting? Maybe the super rich are incredibly happy with our town, but then we see the poorer side of our community is very unhappy with our town. We should be able to read something, take something away from that information. So I would just have a question is, why are these the numbers you chose for us to check a box and say this is how much money I have?
So you some questions for our survey consultant about demographic information.
Right, so that's the thing is I'm not trying to question the professionals. I want to just better understand why these brackets are significant.
And are there numbers that we can tie to terminology that we use
Correct.
really frequently?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that's one change we would recommend making, which is
Yeah.
align those bracket levels to align with somebody who qualifies for affordable housing.
Yeah.
Can you, so then we can have a better idea of how, how people are viewing it, or even take those results by those subgroups and better understand them. I don't know, so that's just an example of like, but I don't know how do you want to
Feedback
give
you'd like
you
to
this
get.
feedback,
Yeah.
I don't know. Throwing it at the council and just saying, give me all your thoughts on this.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's the best way to do it.
So Liam, is it reasonable to see if we can convert this into something that can be given to the council between now and our June?
Yeah, I think so. Also, I can talk to our webmaster, who I think generally does survey stuff.
I could even see it being like an image of each question and then a open-ended response underneath it. Something like that. Or-
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Somebody,
have no problem
So that
signing
was not-
homework to the full council. I just want to make sure that if I do that, like we have the document ready and, people will have 2 weeks or whatever to submit their feedback and.
I think, yeah, so why don't we'll talk with IT in the next few days and get an answer back on what we can do about that feedback. I think high level, making the council aware that this is coming
Yeah.
and distributing the survey that we did last time and asking them to start thinking about their feedback
Sure.
and what they want to delve into.
Yeah.
What I would say is, I think for our June meeting, we should plan on having, I almost asked if you could attend this meeting.
Yeah.
But we'll have the consultant attend. He was great last time about, I think he probably attended 3 or 4 or 5. I feel like,
Yeah,
meetings
he
over
was-
Zoom, and helped us kind of, and it was really an opportunity for people to say, you know, how we're interested in this, what have you seen? Can you propose some questions? How should we go about measuring? So I can see if Jason will be available for June, but doing some work ahead of time to get that feedback would
Yeah,
be.
oh,
good.
that would, yeah, have that ready for him. Yeah,
That'd be great.
I think also some questions too for council about not just question by question, but more like overarching,
Topic.
yeah,
Yeah.
subjects for it.
Right.
Or if there's anything else about like the length or having an open-ended response. I think we had talked something that we had talked about last time too.
So these are all hand tabulated, I have to believe, right? No,
No, I think that they, I know that there are people.
blank
coming
spaces
that-
to write stuff in. So-
That is.
That
yes,
part
but
is,
there-
but I assume the rest is.
And- Nick, I think it's
Scan it.
predated your time on the council, but all of the data is put into a dashboard that allows you to drill down to demographics.
So,
So you could say, I want to see the people with a household income of over 130,000, how many responses we got, how they answer the questions, and
Yeah.
he'll go through his report.
And-
right, but I want the demographics to mean something.
Sure, I get it.
Range should be 80 to 90, if that's a relevant, I'm
Right.
just throwing
That will be a good question for him, but I almost want to say it's something like that they do these surveys nationally, so it's like a way for them to see, keeping it among all the surveys that they provide,
Sure.
that's the number that they can use.
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah, for on there, but for
Yeah.
us to be able to drill down, I think that would be important. Like, here's another thing I just picked up on. I would love it if there was a section that you indicated which part of town we lived in. Because there's questions about infrastructure, my street lighting, my pavement condition. And if we find out like Higgins Beach is like, it's all terrible, but
That was,
Prouts Neck is like, it's all great, you know, like, at least now we've drilled down into where we should be focusing some transportation work.
that was a big benefit of the dashboard last time too, because they did random mailings, but it was based on geographic location, so they do know where the.
They
response-
do know, but
they
we
do-
don't have them check a box saying like, I'm in Oak Hill.
No, because it's part of the address that it was mailed to, and then there.
Okay, that's good to know.
An
So,
code or whatever.
'cause-
Yeah.
On that dashboard, you can see the map and kind of like see based on the area.
all right,
And you can see people on the west side of Turnpike unhappy with infrastructure, and people on that, you know, so all of that is available. So
I'm sure like lighting, right?
Yeah.
Yes. It just depends where you live.
I can distribute, I imagine the dashboard's still up.
Yeah, it's on our, I kept the community survey page up.
Oh, great, okay.
I mean, and it's okay to have those comments come back to the council and you'd be like, Nick, it's already addressed, like, you won't without
Yeah.
this. Like, that's an okay response.
But
Like, you
it
know,
would be good to do that Q and A with Jason again.
I'm just gonna pull up.
Yeah, it's on the what's happening, or you can just public search it.
yeah. I
Well,
just wanna-
yeah, and we can talk,
Information,
we
utilize
can
it,
talk
right?
to this, we can talk to the survey guys about getting some more granular info.
And then go to all town projects. Yeah, and then it's called community survey still, I think.
Great.
Yeah. It's-
There's one other. Comment I have on this. I don't see anything in here about like the social services. With homelessness and
Mhm.
housing. There probably should be some sort of. Question about how social services are viewed in town.
Sure.
Not only that, what our residents expect us to do.
Yeah.
One way or another.
So Nick, this is, so this is.
So I'm done, I have all my feedback. You just move ahead with it.
Sorry. Anyway, so this is, you'll be able to see from the mapping standpoint where people responded.
I can't see what you're looking at all.
All right, I'll share it just quickly. I know we don't need to get.
Too far. to leave.
So this is it on the town's webpage now, still the results, so you can drill down from this.
Yeah.
You know, all these different pieces and questions, and it's really, that was really the upside to this provider.
So I'll signal to the council that this is something that's gonna kind of be homework, and I'll resend the link to the dashboard just to get people reacquainted, refresh their memories on what we did last time. And let them know that we're planning on having the consultant come to our June meeting, and that if they would like to provide meaningful feedback, that you know, we're gonna be ramping up to get this sent and be launched late August.
Great.
Okay. Anything else on community survey for today? Okay, last item for today is council outreach day. I want some actual suggestions. Because if it's up to me, we're doing door to door. So if people do not want it to be a door to door activity, I need to hear some alternate suggestions or ideas that you think would be good ways for the council to spend a morning engaging with the public.
I'm,
We're
all-
talking-
I love doing door to door, so that's not a problem for me. It would depend on when.
Okay. Well, we had said we were trying to pick a politically light
Right,
time. So after the June referendum, but before people start to pull papers, which is the first week of August. Yeah. Yeah. So again, we're looking at that like late June, early July timeframe, maybe a couple hours on a Saturday morning. And one of the things that we did, Jean Marie, you did this with us, the postcards.
yeah,
We just had the list of newly registered voters. And we broke it up by neighborhood, and John Anderson and I went and did door to door for a while, and Dawn and I went and did door to door for a while, and we just knocked on the doors where people had newly registered to vote and gave them a town postcard and made sure that they knew that we had a town newsletter and welcome them to town. And I mean, people loved it. I mean, and you get a lot of, well, we did, because it was a presidential election, we got a lot of 18-year-olds, right? So you knock on
Yes.
the door, and, hi, how are you? Like, is your kid home? Which obviously, you know, you
the other way to
because
do
they're a
it,
newly registered voter, but
the other way to do it is to target certain neighborhoods, so to speak. Like say there's 30 doors in a certain area of town, and Jean Marie, you go do that one, and you know, someone else go do something else, and you spread out, and that way you hit different areas, you know what I'm saying? Like Higgins Beach, Pine Point, over here in North Scarborough. And that way you get more traction, but that's just another way of doing it.
My suggestion and would be the Downs. That's gonna be your greatest conglomerate of new residents to town, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the welcome wagon, don't you think?
But are we doing, I thought and I apologize if I'm missing something, but I thought the thing was to get us in front of everybody, not just new people in town. And
Well,
by
I'm just-
everybody, I mean, not just
Every door in
cherry
town. That's what
picking
you're
certain-
saying.
What's that?
So we're not knocking on every door in town. That's
No, that's why
Wow.
I say you choose certain neighborhoods and you say, okay, these streets. And you do all the odds, or you do an odd and even, or anyway, there are different ways of doing it.
well, that's why I
You
was
have a
suggesting
certain
maybe we
number
do
of
the work in the
doors.
Downs, because that might be where the newest residents of town would be located.
I mean, I definitely think so. I definitely think if we split up into pairs, that a pair should do a section, you know, a chunk of the Downs. I think to Jean Marie's point, we could do, I mean, there are neighborhoods where the door to door is, you know, super easy, and
Right,
old parts of Pleasant Hill, you know, you
Right.
get a lot of bang for your buck in 2 hours.
Right.
Whereas, you know, out in West Scarborough, where all of our driveways are right off from busy roads, where the speed limit is 45 miles an hour, that's, you know, that's probably not our biggest bang for our buck if we're driving.
although you could probably do those on my side of the town, or by not doing it with not having two counselors go together, but each
Yeah, but this is
counselor
supposed to be
go.
a bonding
No, but with a
activity
drive,
for us too.
but have a driver. In other words, someone drives you, but I'm getting way too technical because I'm the expert.
Say you're launching into political operative mode, which you are very good at. Don't get me wrong. You.
But
have
it
a
depends on what you're
Those
trying to
doors.
accomplish with this.
Well, right. Well, so it's twofold. One is we were trying to do something that would build some council team camaraderie here, that we're
Right.
all out doing this, you
Right,
know, public service at the same time. We would maybe come back and to town hall and have a picnic or set up a grill or whatever and be, you know, spend some time together outside of council chambers. So there's two parts to it. And I don't want to go do door to door by myself and bring some with Eugene Ray. Like, we gotta,
Is it
it's more
something
fun
that,
to do stuff in pairs.
maybe it's something like we not pair up, but partner with, you know, a set of counselors partners with Project Grace, somebody with the Scarborough Food Pantry, and we go in door to
Right.
door and try to help them help the rest of our community. I don't know, rather than, you know, because I don't want it to be political. I want to say, hey,
Right.
welcome to Scarborough.
Yeah,
But we got this thing, Project Grace helps with heating costs, you know.
the other thing is that you could have a table at the election in June, which we used to do that. You'd have counselor tables, and then Summerfest, we used to have town councilor table. They haven't done that. Of course, pandemic came along, so that
Yeah, I
was.
was gonna say, both of those are good suggestions. I mean, to have.
It's also a farmer's market on
I was
Sundays.
thinking that too, yeah, and a
A
project.
farmer's market, yep.
Community
that's
table.
another place.
Or even just like walking around during that.
Set up a table at the beach on a Saturday. Hand out lemonade. That's for.
Sure, we separated, right?
I don't know how many local people you'd get at the beach on a Saturday.
well, we just increased the parking fee, so.
No, definitely shoot for the first Saturday
Next
in
in July.
July. That way they could personally thank you for doubling their parking fee. Right,
Mm,
right.
Table in the parking lot.
Hmm.
Right, well, what I'm worried about is we have this 2 or 3 minute discussion at the end of all of our communications committee meetings, but nothing is coming, no
know.
planning is coming together, no decisions are,
I say we throw three options at the council,
okay,
just give them
Yeah.
three options.
That's a
What do
good
you want us to
idea.
pursue, and we'll hammer out the details,
okay.
Right.
What are your 3 proposals?
fine?
Yeah. You said
Door
3
knocking
Door-
in pairs.
Yeah,
Although there's 7 of us, so Jean Marie doesn't mind going by herself if you really need someone to go.
No, Junior, you can just go twice. You can have 2 partners.
I think.
all right, door knocking,
I think tables for either a Summerfest farmer market or the elections is an option.
Yeah.
Okay.
Table work,
table work. When I propose table work, are we gonna have a table and 2 people are gonna do it for an hour at a time?
Yes, yeah. That's what we've did in the past, yeah.
and then how about some form of volunteerism? Project.
Well, we should be doing that anyway, but anyway.
But
But
again,
to have-
the
I
I
whole
agree,
idea
I
is to
agree.
Have the
fund
council.
or something,
Right, have
yeah.
council members show up and
or
help.
some
with
volunteer
A
project.
drive, or help create a drive with.
Right.
Some,
Food pantry or Project Grace or, yeah.
even if it's delivering, you know, what's the Meals on Wheels, I mean, I don't, anything.
When they hand out the meals for seniors.
Oh, that's
Something
a
like
good
that.
one.
We
That'd
used
be-
to-
right.
we used
Yeah,
to,
the table. at
we-
the-
we used to do that, actually.
Yeah,
We
I
would
just-
go along with Meals on Wheels.
You got the idea, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some kind of volunteerism with a community partner is what I wrote down.
or multiple community partners, I mean.
Okay,
There's what, Rotary, Kiwanis,
Yep.
Grace. Scarborough Food Pantry, there's a long list of
Okay.
areas we could all chip in and help out.
all right. I'm gonna hold the council to choosing one of those 3 things.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
And
right,
then once we get direction from the full council, we'll pull the
we'll
details.
plan it. Okay. All right, I like it. Anything else from our agenda today? Future agenda items, as we discussed, we will have the survey, representative here to be at our June meeting. We will further the discussion on, council action day. And I think furthering the survey and furthering those plans are probably what we have right in front of us, in addition to our regular business.
I'm just going back to that last topic.
Yeah.
If the council says we want to work tables, I think the June elections, are we gonna? I guess it's not a lot to plan for, if they
Yeah.
say they want to work tables, but I was just gonna say, our next June meeting, it is before the election, right?
Yeah,
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we didn't.
no, our June Communications Committee meeting is before the June referendum day.
Yes.
Yes,
This is a referendum's on the
we
27th.
can plan tables.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Just
Good
wanted to
point.
make sure we weren't gonna accidentally miss an option.
Yep. Okay, do we have anybody for public comment? There's nobody in the room
We do not.
and nobody on Zoom. With that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay,
And I'm coming up in person for ordinance. I just have to put my jeans on. I have my shorts on.